7:04.
I wonder if I have the original and you have a photocopy. Do you want to look at this?
Does it need to be restarted? Are these microphones too loud? Test.
Can we turn the sound off on the TV? Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's the TV. Yeah. Can we mute the TV? Just have to turn the volume down and shut it off. Is there a remote? Does it, you just shut it? Turn the volume off. That's my backyard. It's, I agree that for stormwater. Yeah, just try to jump off.
Test. Test. Okay. Works. Great. All right. First, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. So please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence to remember our men and women serving in the armed forces, particularly those serving in troubled areas around the world. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First item on the agenda is to amend or approve the agenda. Do I have a motion or are there any amendments?
I have a motion to adjourn. Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay, Eagle Scout presentations. I'm excited about this. So, first is an Eagle Scout presentation by Benjamin Stratton. I'm looking for a motion to, I guess we probably should have a presentation and then a motion to approve it. So you're up.
Hello, thank you all for having me here. It's definitely an honor. First time presenting in front of council, so a little bit. My name is Benjamin Stratton. I'm a Life Scout going for Eagle from Troop 194 in Columbus, New Jersey. I'm proposing an Eagle project for the Flemington Food Pantry near the Walmart Route 31. And basically, what I'm planning to do there is put in pavers in front of the building, because for a while I volunteered there. There's this big area in front of the building, and it gets super muddy and messy, and they have all the stations set up there. I remember slipping and falling in the mud one time there, and that was not fun. So it definitely has been a problem. They've been looking for solutions to that, and I kind of stepped up to the plate there, and they were super happy to have me volunteer, try to do that for them. Yeah, so based on the images in front of the building there, as you can see, it's not very usable. It's very slippery. Some of it is kind of leaking onto the sidewalk itself. It creates a hazardous space to walk on, and that's where they also have different food stations and tables set up. So that's where they have their volunteers going and handing out food gifts and bags. And it's just very annoying. It's all the mud tracks inside the building. It's they have to constantly clean it. It's very slippery, and I'm trying to solve that for them and for me as a volunteer there. So it'll turn into a useful space for them, and it'll definitely improve how their operations go day to day. As you can see on the images I provided, there's kind of like a rundown of how the pavers process will go, what kind of pavers I will use, and like the square footage and dimensions. So I'm going to source the pavers from the Sweet Valley Farms. As you can see the pavers from there, those were from another Eagle project, and they wanted to match the design so it's not mismatching. That way it looks good. So there's really good example up there, and that turned out very well. So definitely want to help them out there. Thank you.
How long do you look to start this?
Hopefully as soon as we get approval for this, and then get donations, funding, all that, and then once we have the supply, like all the supply materials and like approved funding and all that, we should be able to start like hopefully early August, mid-August. Yeah, so it'll be pretty quick. It's not gonna take too long.
Yeah, your crew lined up, your brother, whatever.
Yeah, he's doing something similar as well. So.
I just had a chance to read through this. Really well done. Extremely well. Very professional.
Thank you very much. I had a lot of help from my Eagle advisor, Mr. Letterath, so kudos to him.
Seems like you probably learned more about pavers already than you ever thought you would.
Surprised that I did. It's a lot more than I thought it would be.
Well, I saw your note on the last slide for me, so I would be happy to participate on the work day. Just let me know.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll follow you up on that.
Okay.
Thank you all very much for looking and listening to my presentation. It's definitely an honor to be presenting like in front of you all. It's very exciting. I've never done this before, and
Look, it's a fantastic site. We know our food pantry is used quite heavily.
yes.
Not a good thing, but it's fantastic. And good luck. I think it's an honor having you here. All the sacrifice that you do, what you're doing is very special.
Thank you.
You're one of the, like Mayor Perry is right in that group. We got all the statistics in one of our meetings. Very few people attain Eagle Scouts, so very appreciative for what you're doing too for the community.
Very nice.
And very professionally done. Great job. All right, well, with that, I'm looking for a motion to approve this project.
I take a motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's approved. Congratulations.
Well done.
All right, next, we have another Eagle Scout candidate, Henry Stratton. Please come on up. One went with the black color and one went with the red.
Yeah.
So I'm Henry Stratton. I'm actually doing something like very, very similar to my brother. It's also employment and food pantry. I'm doing the same exact pavers. It's 6x9-inch pavers. It's going to be kind of where the drive-through goes through actually. And then a table set up there currently. You can currently see it's like all muddy and everything, just tons of dirt. And they attract so many bees. And so my plan is to put pavers there to make distribution a lot easier and make the whole flow of the food pantry go like better. And also, it could be a really bad tripping hazard for anyone going to grab food or anything, especially with people with disabilities or those who are young.
And it looks like with this and your brother's project that almost all of the dirt spaces around the building are now going to be covered in pavers.
Yeah. So, it's about 557 square feet. So the pavers I'm using will be the same as my brother from Sweet Valley, and the owner of Sweet Valley, his son I'm really, really good friends with, and so for some of the fundraising, they help me out with possible donations or like major discounts.
It's great.
Timing wise, are you looking to start as soon as you can?
Yeah, so me and my brother are planning to do it around the same time because of like volunteers and everything. We can both help volunteer for both
great competitions you use those.
It's honestly an honor to be here presenting in front of you guys. This is my first time ever doing anything like this. I remember coming in here a month and a half ago or so for a merit batch, kind of sit through the township meeting. But I knew I would have to go in front of you guys at some point, and that's my time for my project.
You know, these meetings are riveting, so, you know, same as I said to your father, congratulations to you too. Again, it's very, very, I gotta get my one every night. You might be able to do here. Wonderful, really great, the service you do to the community, it's outstanding. Really should.
And it seems like you're learning about a lot of different things with this project. Not only are you learning about a process that'll serve you well in managing a construction project, you're learning actually how to lay pavers, you're learning also kind of the approval process and the documentation process with the municipality.
Yeah, people don't really like take account of it, like the extent of like all the approvals needed to actually do a project.
The economics as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great job.
Great. Thank you.
This one?
Yeah, do I have a motion?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations. You guys wanna get a photograph? Maybe hold it up your-
Watch us on the wire.
It's all very nice. Yeah, look forward to helping you guys out. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. And thank you to your parents and your scout masters too, because I have a feeling they probably helped with it. They're anything like mine.
There it is.
All right, next on the agenda is Executive Order 2026-3, mayoral appointments for the Environmental Commission. Sean. Oh, there you are, Sean. Sorry about that. All right, so today I think it's Frank and Sean, and being appointed, I'm going to read the appointment and then Sean can do the oath of office. By the power vested in me, I, Raritan Perry, Mayor of Township Mayor of the Township of Raritan, County of Hunterdon, on this, the 21st day of July 2026, do hereby appoint the following members of the Environmental Commission: Frank Scipione and Sean Commenton. And Sean, if you want to come up, we can do the oath. I don't think we need to. All right, raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Sean Connaughton,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of New Jersey,
and the state of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States and in the state of New Jersey,
and to the governments established in the United States and the state of New Jersey,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of
and that I will faithfully, justly, and impartially perform the duties of
alternate number 2 of the Environmental Commission,
alternate number 2 of the Environmental Commission,
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my ability,
really nice pictures.
Okay, public comment. It is policy of the township committee that public comment be limited to 3 minutes per person. Public comment shall be permitted on items of concern regarding the agenda only. Additional time will be allotted at the end of the meeting for items, for public comment on any issue. Do I have a motion to open public comment?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to close public comment.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, approval of the minutes. You have the minutes in your packet. If there are no corrections, the regular meeting minutes of June 3rd, 2026, and ask for a motion of approval.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. On to new business. We have several items on new business tonight. The first is for a special event arts and crafts show at the Cervenka Farm on the 26th of July from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. There's a request for a Kona Ice and an Endless Empanadas food truck. Do I have a motion for approval?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second, on the new business agenda, B is a special event for the Three Bridges Fire Company 5-mile run. So it's 5K, run 5 miles.
That's way up.
Yeah, that's a little longer.
I'm gonna get driving.
It's on August 8th, 2026. I think it's the 16th annual, so this has been going on for quite a few years now. There's a request for use of roads, because they do go a little bit into Raritan Township roads, and a waiver of the special event fee.
They work with our police on that, have in the past.
Yeah. It's a long-standing event, we've had no issues with that event in the past, that I'm aware of.
I have a motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Next is another special event, the Postpartum Wellness of Hunterdon County Family Resource Fair at JPK School. This is scheduled for the 26th of September, 12 to 5 p.m. There's a request for the Williams & Co. Sweet Treat Food Truck and waiver of the special event fee. Any comments on that? Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then a request, from the Hunterdon, I even memorized what this was, the 300th committee, so it's not the semi-centennial. I think it's the tricentennial.
There you go.
The tricentennial committee to use the municipal parking lot on August 4th, 2026, 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. For parking, they're having a Revolutionary War site bus tour, and so there's some folks that are going to be parking their vehicles here. What I was told, I think about 40 vehicles are going to park in our parking lot. They're going to get on the bus, do the tour, come back, and leave. It's a one-day thing, one time. So do I have a? It's on a weekday. I forget if it's a Monday or a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday.
Tuesday. But there's no court in session, so there shouldn't be a conflict.
And it's all good on Park or Karen.
Exactly, but they have a guarantee spot.
My name is on that.
Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, on to ordinances, ordinance 2625, updating the township's regulation and permitting of food trucks. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. And as a reminder, one of the main changes here that if a food truck is or an event has a facility fee, facility permit, is at a park or something, the food truck can go through that permitting process and not come to the township committee. Let's see, so public comment, I think we have to motion to open public comment. So do I?
Second.
All in favor? All right, we're open for public comment. Seeing none, motion closed.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
2626, requirement, for hiring off-duty police officers. This is an introduction, it's an amendment to a current ordinance, basically taking into account, county and state laws. We're making a revision to it, at the time. Do I have a motion to introduce?
Motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Ordinance 2627 for capital improvements of $173,520 from the capital surplus fund. This is an introduction. And this is basically appropriating funds that were planned for a secure fireproof room. And instead, we are reappropriating them to fireproof cabinet.
Save us a lot.
Exactly. And in addition, we're gonna be doing some upgrades to the police station with those funds.
Big time needed improvements over there. So what was going on.
Do I have a motion to introduce?
Motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Consent agenda. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. No separate discussions on these items will be made. However, if discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Do I have anything that should be pulled from the consent agenda tonight? Seeing no, then I would look for a motion to adjourn. Yep.
Okay.
Seeing none, motion to adopt consent agenda resolution 267157 through 267175. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Resolution 267176, authorizing the mayor, clerk, and supervisor of engineering to submit an application to the New Jersey Transportation Infrastructure Bank, the NJCIB, for transportational bank loan. So, I'd like to have some discussion on this. This is basically an iBank loan. And you have in your packet, and we were aware from the past studies that have been done, that the township has a lot of, called red roads that are in need of really full reclamation and re-engineering. And we have been chipping away at those roads.
No point intended on that.
Right, they've been chipping away at themselves. And so, as a committee, we're looking at a proposal to fund some roads being fully re-engineered, with an allocation of $4 million. This is what I quickly do is getting, how much can I get approved for a mortgage? You get approved for a mortgage for $1 million. You buy the house for $750, you're gonna be paying a month for $750. Right now, we're trying to say, can we get approved for $4 million? It doesn't mean we're going to spend the $4 million. It's going to, whatever the roads that we are able to do and that we decide to do, whatever they cost, that's what the loan will be at the end of the day.
Because they're not all full depth reclamation, right? Some of these could be just, or no,
These are all full reclamation.
reclamations,
Yeah,
Look at it, it's like a 2-inch.
right.
Slurry.
And so, our administrator, you probably are aware, this number came up because we looked at the roads that we could possibly do over the next couple of years, and this is sort of the estimate that would, at the current prices, that would cover those roads. Is that correct?
And with a little capping added because prices are always gonna go up. So we're gonna be doing the estimates, to find out how much roads are gonna cost in the next 6 months or so. So the initial figure that we were looking at was more like 3.5, we boosted up to 4, because we need to eventually it's up to the township committee to decide how much they want to spend.
Now, we can allocate these funds tonight, but in 2 years, we could allocate more funds. So there's, for example, we could say we want to allocate $2 million, and in 2 years, we could do another 2 million, or.
Or we could cap it and just say.
Right.
Where we are.
Exactly. So.
I think we're behind the eight ball with a lot of our roads, that they have not paved roads going back into the
Right.
early 2000s and 2000 teens, so.
But it's
We've got to catch up, and we've got to help out the residents with better roads.
Don't disagree, but you have the information in your packet. What does 4 million mean? 4 million means 10 years of payments of about $445,000 a year.
Dude, only 10 years?
10 years. IBANs for 10 years.
Because I have the IBAN percentages, so, which I don't know if you, the percentage of that loan is like, what do you say?
Well, 1%.
1.0.
It's about the cheapest money you can
So,
get.
when I went through the memo, I guess one of the questions I had is, it suggested every other year. Is there a reason for that? Why we're not going after stuff every year? Well, the iBank, doesn't it take a year to get the iBank applications in and approved for the roads? And then there's kind of like a lead time in between. Again, why wait every other year? Why not do so every year?
I mean, that decision doesn't need to be made tonight. You can decide next year to do this again. This is kind of following along a proposal that had been, put out there a couple of years ago about the strategy that we would, borrow the funds, get the work done, before we started another process. So that basically the roads would be completed, we wouldn't have projects that were, overlapping. That was kind of the thought.
And we could do some chip seals, I just know some of our roads that are red are real, and I get calls from residents, and it's hard to, I give them the explanation, the same explanation our DPW gives, and I get it, it's our budget, it's our tax rate, but it's just, people live in a nice community, they would like their roads to be somewhat maintained, and they're really, really bad in some situations.
We don't have to eat the whole apple in one bite. And so I know our CFO is also here, and I don't know, Dale, if you have anything to add about the costs or how that just works, that maybe I haven't covered. Is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I think you pretty much hit everything on the nail on the head with that. Like Karen mentioned, that it's an application. It's not that you're tying yourself into anything right now. Your analogy with the borrowing for a mortgage, it hits the nail on the head. You can decide what you want to do and how much of the roads that you want to attend to, with that, up to that amount, and then once projects are completed, you can start, the process again, as the iBank funding is going to be available in the foreseeable future for that. The interest rate is just really low, right? This is such a advantageous thing to take advantage of, given the fact that you have all of these issues with the roads.
The interest rate generally stays low. It's not like we have to act now to get it.
No. Historically, there's always been low, around 1%, and sometimes down to half of that.
I guess let's think our roads lasted longer than 10 years, I was hoping we could do that, amortize over a longer period of time. Great rates, that's just more favorable for us than it's 10 years of living.
Yeah, they're IBank rules.
Yeah, so it would be basically 2030 to 2040, it would be $445,000 a year to budget. So it's a very significant amount.
If I can point out the other benefit of going to the iBank, there's no upfront cost, because they are set up to pay the vendors for us. We don't have to have the money and then get reimbursed for it. So and there's, they even have a short-term loan process at the beginning of it, so that we can pay our engineering fees, et cetera. There's no out-of-pocket expense. All of that gets rolled into the loan, and we don't start paying for it until the work is done.
Look, the IBank is the way to go, we're not confused, it's just priorities.
Committeeman McDade.
I like the flexibility it gives us.
basketball courts at Lenape Park are in complete disrepair, and quite honestly, are a safety hazard.
One hundred percent.
Tricky, I mean, you're running up and down that court, you're gonna trip and fall.
You're jumping on
these broken sections of the basketball court. And it really is our responsibility to ensure that that doesn't happen. And further to that, is our responsibility because this, property was purchased as a part of Green Acres that we, quite honestly, we have to maintain. It's really the question.
Does that come out of open space funds?
And that means that we can use open space funds to pay for it.
That facility for basketball is heavily used. This is absolutely.
Yeah.
What kind of hoops are we putting in? Like, are we going back to we're using the concrete stanchions that they do, like say down in Branchford, or are we using the same metal poles? I'm just trying to look here, I don't know.
I don't have a specific design standards, but I would expect that they're gonna install the same kind of poles that were done on the courts that are, the 2 of the 4 courts have already been done. I would expect that they're trying to match that.
Okay.
Yeah. Aesthetically, it would make sense to do that.
You were looking for a ceaseless. Yeah, second thought. I don't have the RAM, everything's ceaseless, so, yeah.
Other comments or questions about that?
Okay.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Resolution 26-7-178, authorizing the purchase of Skyfire X4XL, that's a really cool name. Mechanical broom street sweeper through the Houston Galveston Area Council Cooperative. So this is a sweeper that was approved through the stormwater utility, you probably remember. And I think as we talked before, the current sweeper is probably from the 1960s, I think. It's being held together by the dust that is collected over the years and industrial. So it's desperately needed, and with the DEP requirements that are being imposed by the state, that we have to sweep 3 times a year, quite honestly, it's honestly almost impossible with the current sweeper we have that's broken half of the year. So it's a necessary purchase. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Resolution 25, should be resolution 26, resolution 26-7-179. Reappointment of interim court administrator Bianca Watkins. Bianca does a great job in our courts. I think Committee and McDade has let us know the courts are running smoothly. And it is in no small part because of Bianca's work, being serious. She really does a fantastic job. So I would be strongly in favor of this reappointment of her.
She's a rock star. Absolutely.
So do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Resolution 26-7-180, this is a declaration of opposition to the construction of data centers in Raritan Township. And so I just want to explain this to the committee and to the members of the public that are here. I mean, our township has and continues to prioritize preserving of our open spaces, managing of our infrastructures, and protecting our environmental resources. The recent, I would say, explosion of data centers really across the nation there may be a day when they figure out the technology, but it just seems like a very dirty technology.
Not today, that's right. What if this were a micro or a nano data center? I don't even know what that means, but something on a much smaller scale. Does this preclude any of those things?
The resolution is a statement, in a period of time, being the current time of our position. So it,
So I think we all imagine these massive, we've seen this in the reports on what they're doing to communities and not regular. That clearly is beyond the scope of our community, really doesn't. But I think that the use of land, that we are limited based on our sewer capacity and what we can do for potential projects within our community. This just negates that.
right now, I'm aware that they're using generators, they're
Oh, I see.
consuming electricity, they're
They're very loud, right?
They're very loud.
Generators go off.
Exactly. And I'm not aware of micro,
I'm just,
that don't perform those, that don't have those issues.
mark my words, I'm the first to get you up with that.
And Mayor, if I may, just it also for public knowledge as well, our current ordinances don't allow for data centers to be permitted. This resolution just emphasizes the township's position, so in case anyone does come with a use variance, it's clear what the township's position on those type of applications would be. But right now, they're not permitted anyway, so if they were ever to be permitted in any shape, way, or form, it would require an ordinance, an action of an ordinance anyways.
Thank you for that clarification.
Absolutely. Perfect.
Do I have a motion for this resolution?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, thank you. Correspondence, you see in your packet correspondence for Raritan Township Fire Company. They have applied for a county grant, and we have provided them a letter of good standing in support of that request for grant. I believe it's around $35,000,
Yes, that's the one where we put in for $35,000. Mayor, that's to upgrade the radios. They want to be alive.
Excellent.
So communicating, especially with mutual aid and others, and we're all using the same sort of equipment, same band, same frequencies, that's what.
Excellent. And then next we have correspondence from Green Acres, where we have been awarded, my understanding, we've been awarded matching grant of $650,000. It wasn't expected, but it's still important money that we will put to good use in our parks and our open spaces. You have your department reports from the tax collector for stormwater and zoning.
Notice the zoning seems like it's gotten bigger. They're out there doing their job.
Now, it's gotten bigger. If you look at that report, there is also, I think, a logging of multiple, or a single property at multiple times over time. For example, if there was an issue last month and then visited again this month, I think they're in there again. I don't know what like the data or the date cutoff is on that. Financial claims for payment. We do have to pay the bills. We do not spend all the money, but we do have to collect it and then distribute it, for example, to the schools. And the bills for the month is $6,511,089.70, plus utility bills of $79,626.86. And do I have a single motion to approve both of those bills?
Motion to approve. Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Just have to look up my notes. So liaison reports, Board of Health, we did not have a Board of Health meeting this month. For police, the police have been doing a lot of training. I'm sure you've seen them out and about, they're still doing a fantastic job. There was over 2,000 calls for the month, going off on top of my head because I can't find my report, but there was over 2,000 calls for the month, so a very busy month. And that is all I have for that. Stormwater, utility, I have no report. And Recreation Advisory Committee, our first meeting will be in September, I believe it's September 8th. I can't remember if it's on the calendar yet, but we have to get it on the calendar.
Sure, it's on the calendar.
That we did, okay. So it's on the calendar on the website, and we're looking forward to kicking that off. Of course, it's difficult in the month of August to get a whole bunch of people together for the first meeting because everybody's already got their vacation planned. So at that meeting, we will decide not only officers, but also schedule the meetings for the rest of the year, and move forward in that way. And Deputy Mayor, unfortunately, was unable to attend tonight, so we're going to skip, her reports and go directly to Committee Midday.
First off, reports, summer's on the busiest time of year, and they continue to do a great job. But I want to have a shout out to our interim court administrator, Bianca Watkins, who was just reappointed. With our historians, the old schoolhouse in front of Lowe's, the interior is finally sheetrocked, spackled and taped, ready to be painted. That'll be our next step. We actually had a historians meeting in there last week, and it has air conditioning, so it's actually nice and bigger than it looks. So hopefully we're making progress, and maybe by the end of the year we can have a meeting there. So, and air conditioning like a big ice cube, for example. It comes from somewhere. Maybe it's coming from Lowe's.
And I don't know if any of the historians were able to go to the 250th fireworks display done by the county at July 8th, and they had reenactors there from the Revolutionary War, and it was very well attended.
I'm not sure if we should. I'll find out next meeting. And secondly, we are preparing for our video of the skirmish at Gary's Ridge, working on a script, working on the logistics of it. So that's also in progress, and it'll be done in the fall.
I didn't even realize there would be much of a script. Now I'm getting more interested.
There's just gonna be, some talking in it.
Okay, great.
Would you wear one of those outfits?
Yeah.
You're great. Okay.
Happy.
Yeah. So that's.
Thank you. Committee Insights.
Thank you, Mayor. Rescue Squad update. Highest number of calls in the squad's history last month. So they had 339 calls in the month. To date, they are at 1,874 calls responded to. So they are working really, really hard. Numbers are definitely up in Raritan Township. They responded to 233 calls while helping out clearly the borough, Raritan Township, Delaware, East Amwell, West Amwell, and Clinton on top of that. Their response time is still the best, not only in the county, but in the state, at 7 minutes and 40 seconds from time of dispatch to the time that they're on scene. So they're clearly buttoned up over at rescue. They attended 100 Central's graduation as well. We're a big part of keeping everybody safe on graduation. For the Raritan Township OEM, they were involved in numerous community events, from the Hardin County 250th anniversary parade, which many of us marched in, the FIFA Party Watch, Flemington's 4th of July fireworks, as the mayor just commented about, also Hardin County Community Day. So the Emergency Operations Center has been opened, and that's right upstairs here, coordinated with everybody across the board from the county to the borough and surrounding areas. The EOC is open, and it's open a lot actually, whether it be from storms, rains that we've had, or the blistering heat that we've had on top of that. And Chris Bailey, our coordinator, would always like to remind everybody to sign up for NIXL, that's our emergency broadcast system. From Public Works, they're crushing it as well. We did have to make some adjustments with some of the Canadian wildfires that were going on, just to keep our guys safe, because the air quality was pretty poor for a couple of days. They're inside doing some work too. But roadside mowing has been underway, pothole repairs, you see that all over the township, and recent storms have really just required them to do a lot of cleanup. We got some communications too that I know the mayor was on, Karen was on as well, to thank you to DPW for clearing trees. They were out there on the fourth, they were out there moving all the way through the month when, some of these wicked storms kind of came through, and they were helping people clear their bigger trees that had fallen into the roads, but also going beyond that as well, making sure it's safe, for all of our residents. So storm cleanup was absolutely huge. You heard about the Blackwell Park, basketball courts getting redone. The pavilion has got some trim to it, that's getting installed. They're doing a really good job on, following up on the pickleball courts, which I know the mayor has gone over there and played. We've all seen it. The pickleball courts look amazing up at Blackwell Park.
And they're packed.
Yeah, they're packed. It's great. And that's a long time coming. That's probably been about 5 years coming. Where we really started delving into that, and the prices just kept going up, and we found a way to get it done. So kudos to all of you for working that through and getting that done.
Okay, so, sure, since you brought it up, I'm going to get a ditch to the trees on our roadways.
When they fall.
Oh, when they
Yeah, when they fall. A lot of them are falling into the rooms. So those guys are coming in early, staying late, and trying to make sure our road is clear. RTMUA, everything's running there. We've really gone through a reorg at the RTMUA. We have a full-time executive director now, and then headed down the tree, we have a new chief operator, Lyle Cook, that's been there for a couple months. But we just hired our maintenance supervisor, which our chief executive or executive director was actually doing 2 jobs. But now having the maintenance supervisor there with high qualifications, just like our chief operator with high qualifications, we should be running really, really smoothly. We'll be starting negotiations there soon as well. Hopefully we'll have those done by the end of the year. And I'd like to send a shout out to the committee, to people in the town, as well for looking out when my father had surgery. So,
Thank you, Committee. Committeeman King.
Thank you, Mayor. The planning board did not meet. The, open space rescheduling, for the fire department, 100% volunteer fire department does not take enough off. Just like in, EMS, June was a very active month for our firefighters. Responded to 87 calls. That's 22 above what they responded in June of the previous year. They're already at 62 for the month of July, and they're going to surpass that. So something's going on, weather related, heat related. They're getting a lot of calls and responding.
Yeah, we've been able to heat the lightning strikes, of course, the drought that we're having.
They're responding to quite a few calls. And one of the, accolades, to our fire department, because of all the training they're doing, they're actually getting into the structural fires very aggressively, which is saving property and lives, which is outstanding. They're moving their budget to a calendar year, just like the municipality. They switched for various reasons years ago. They decided after we met with Dale, this no longer makes sense, so they're gonna do a 6-month temporary budget, or 6-month budget, then they're gonna go on the same cycle as the township.
That's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, so, and we talked about the, grant given platform, community day, they're looking at a pipe fitters trailer, which they used a couple of years ago, so it's contained to do a demonstration. They're still planning on doing a live demonstration by burn, in the month of October when it's, a fire awareness week, so I think that's good. So they understand our requirements for community day, they want to be an active participant. We also know the kids and people like to see those sorts of demonstrations. They're currently reviewing and updating their bylaws and constitution. The 2 are not in sync, so they got the constitution updated, they're going through these bylaws, and, so, I think a lot of time influence and input on that. The deputy's vehicle they just acquired is now in active service. And July 22nd, for those that are here, those that are listening, go out to Chipotle. July 22nd, Chipotle is donating 50% of the proceeds to our firemen.
That's a high percentage.
Excellent. Get some Mexican. Sounds great. That's been a busy month for the fire department. Thank you for that. Now it's time for public comment, and this is public comment on any issue limited to 3 minutes. Do I have a motion to open public comment?
motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. not everybody at once. Next time this happens, I'm going to